agility, hit points, as well as the attack and defense. So depending on what we have here to start off in the treasure and throne room, well, we'll take a look here. And starting off with a set of wings, that means our runners will be able to keep the key. We've also got a bonus key. All right, so that'll certainly help as well. And, oh, we've got the herb. Okay, plus a hurt spell. So they'll be able to hang on to that one key. And meanwhile, Tyerenex going after a Drakey to start off with here, and is going to quickly go to level 2. Meanwhile, the Vanilla Brecconary location is cold, so we're going to have a search spot off item right off the bat here. And it is Erdrick's armor, the best armor in the game, so that's going to help take care of the defensive woes to start off with here. So Brax picking up Erdrick's armor, Basp about to do the same. Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley going to go on into the treasury here, and we're going to find a cursed belt. Also, some big bucks in the bottom left corner. Some big bucks in the upper left corner, or in the center, rather, I should say. And a torch in the upper left corner. So 2 spots to do a potential gold grind coming up later here. And a huge gain of MP. Might have been a double level there for Tyerenex, as TheAlanHeffley now going to head into coal and pick up Erdrick's armor. And already a couple of quick levels and spells here for Tyerenex. Certainly huge there, and now a little bit of running away. And meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley going to do a little bit of shopping. Is debating whether to save up for the broadsword, but is going to opt to go for the hand axe. And perhaps a small shield as well. That is correct. So now Brax doing some grinding to the northwest of the castle. Basp now back in, and here comes level 2 for TheAlanHeffley. Oh, and a big 31, and now here comes another level for Tyerenex. Opting to hold off on the Vanilla Tablet Cave, and is going to look down here as Basp trying to get the trolley guard out of the way. And Brax, well, Stone Man having nothing to do with him here. So Tyerenex now going to head on over, and we've got Garenham, and it's the Vanilla location. Going to do a little bit of shopping here, or more like a little bit of browsing. Now TheAlanHeffley, okay, took a little bit of a pause. As Brax now going to take a look, and the Vanilla Tablet Cave, not going to negotiate or navigate in the dark. So Tyerenex now going to head on into the back of Tandagel Castle, pick up 1 key, because that's all that can be afforded, but it will allow a look at the back of Tandagel. Meanwhile, a Dragon Scale purchase on Brax's side. And in the back of Tandagel, we have a cave that Tyerenex wants no part of. Brax, meanwhile, was looking to see if there were keys in the inventory, but not so much. And it looks like, yes, either a mountain or tablet cave based on the movement. And TheAlanHeffley has found a cave, and it looks as though it is the tablet cave. So access to 1 free treasure chest here, as Brax now going up to level 6. And now the experience level's pretty close here for Tyerenex and Brax, as Tyerenex getting up to level 6. And in the tablet cave, we have a set of wings. That works just like the repel spell when you're in a town or in the overworld. It gives you access to... Oh, wow. It gives you access to one... Oh, yeah, it gives you access to head back to the castle, just like the return spell. As I'm following 4 different screens and trying to think and talk at the same time here. And the TheAlanHeffley heading out, so the tablet cave in its vanilla location.
Speaking of watching 4 screens, do you need a hand if you're on?
Oh, we have a Bobski joining us here. Absolutely. Yeah, 1 mouth, 2 eyes, and 4 screens. Certainly hard to keep track of everything here, as it looks like we've got a fire-breathing skeleton using the Dragonlord breath. And Brack's going to just opt to use the wings and head back onto the castle. So to catch you up here, we had an herb and wings along with the magic key, so they were able to hold on to their key for the most part. The Tangible Treasury with some gold in a couple of chests, as well as a cursed belt and a torch. So far, the tablet cave in its vanilla location has a set of wings. Garenham is in its vanilla location, and the Brecconary spot is occupied by Cole, which had Erdrick's armor.
This is an axe and seems to be the only person with a weapon.
Yes, the TheAlanHeffley, after raiding the treasury, took the 2 chests and decided to purchase a hand axe as well as the small shield in the town of Cole. As now Tyerenex is going to navigate the tablet cave. And now some exploration over on Basp's side, and ooh, Basp be able to get an excellent move, a critical hit. No way to heal, though, other than the herbs. But only going up to 37, so if there's another skeleton and it gets the jump... Oh, well, that's right. Being able to walk with the Erdrick's armor and gain 1 hit point per is certainly a nice advantage there. So the TheAlanHeffley now roaming around the Vanilla Mountain Cave, but has to take a long way around if they're looking to get there. Meanwhile, Brack's going to make a break for the vanilla town of Cole, and we will see what we have there. Nice hero's run and gets in, and we've got Brecconary.
Sometimes if you're looking for an inn, you're happy to see Brecconary, but just about every other time, it's not where you want to be.
Oh, to the contrary, I think Brecconary is always the place to be. But I'm also frugal.
Gotta love that Motel 6.
Absolutely. Who needs the Ritz Cantlin? So we have the... Ooh, we've got... In the Staff of Rain Cave, we have Garen's Grave. Access to 5 treasure chests, although none of them being accessed by Brax thanks to an Axe Knight. And it looks like we have the Mountain Cave over on Tyerenex's side. We've got big bucks. We've got the Death Necklace. I missed what the top chest was. A Fighter's Ring, as Chad is informing us here. Also a torch. And 1 more treasure chest to go. Will Tyerenex make it? The wizard trying to create a little bit of havoc there is now level 7. And we've got an empty chest. So that either was a set of keys or an herb, but I don't think there were that many acquisitions of keys, so I want to say that was an herb in the far chest.
And unless Tyerenex is looking for a death warp, it seems like he might have taken a wrong turn, but it turned out just fine because the Axe Knight showed.
And Tyerenex does have keys, so we do have a gold grind set up here, thanks to the treasure chest glitch. Now, the way that works is that chests respawn every time you go to the overworld map, but due to the programming limitations at the time the game was made, well, the game only tracks up to 8 treasure chests as opened, so every chest open beyond that 8 chests can be taken over and over again. In this case, Tyerenex did that by opening the 5 treasure chests in the mountain cave, death warping back to Tanager Castle, where the 3 chests in the throne room are always marked as open, so that way you don't take those over and over again. So then when you go into the treasury here, any of the chests that you open, that is considered the 9th one, and that means, theoretically, you can take gold over and over again and add up money quickly. And the TheAlanHeffley, meanwhile, has found the town of Rimeldar. So he's going to have access to keys. And Rimeldar in its vanilla location this time around. Access to 1 treasure chest here. And it contains Erdrick's token. One of the essential items needed in the game.
That's always a relief to find, knowing that you don't have to necessarily go search on the map for it or look under the enemy in Hogsmeade. Because it came out of a chest, right? I was taking care of some other arrangements, but...
No worries, as just hanging on here is Brax. And navigating down to Swamp South. I didn't see what Swamp North was, or whether it was in its vanilla spot. And we've got the mountain cave containing the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave. Because if you don't have all the items, most notably Erdrick's token, he will kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is. And inside the Vanilla Jerk Cave is the Staff of Rain Cave. And we've got an empty chest in Garenham. We've got a silver harp. And some big bucks.
That silver harp will help out for the routing. Having that now is useful, since we know the Staff of Rain Cave is way down in Vanilla Jerk.
And we've got big bucks in the back of Garenham as well, in the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave.
Some bonus gold, since Tyerenex did the gold grind. 16,000 gold and...
So now in the basement of Tanager here, and the TheAlanHeffley will hopefully do me a solid and use an herb here. Or not an herb, a torch, I should say. I'm looking at herb thanks to Empty Eye and the Freudian slip here in the chat. And so that looks to be, based on what we found out earlier, the mountain cave in the back of Tanager Castle. So in taking a look here, the only locations that I haven't quite completely confirmed is what's Hawksnest, well, we'll see here that Hawksnest does have a Guardian, in fact. Wow, already up to 110 attack at level 9.
Bring in the power today.
And that's without Erdrick's sword, the best sword in the game. The best weapon in the game.
So strength is not going to be the holdup on the stats. What are our stats look like? How close are we to seeing go stats and just needing to get up?
I'm wondering if somewhere in the midst of things, if Basp found Erdrick's sword and we just missed it here.
Yeah, these stats don't line up with that report, so we will see what happens.
So Hawksness with nothing in the search spot but an Axe Knight Guardian. And now a gold grind on the TheAlanHeffley's side. And Tyerenex is in the grave. Has picked up the top 3 chests, which I will admit that I missed.
Gold, and more gold? Is that what chat is telling us?
Someone find Jack Barry as we got Joker up top there. And there's the Stones of Sunlight. That is one of the essential items needed in the game. And one more chest to go in the basement. Deep in Garen's grave. And it's some big bucks. And Brack's not able to get away from an Axe Knight and is going to get sent back to the castle.
And Brax is going to use the gold grind now, so just some counterfeit money going to be floating around the kingdom of Alfgard.
Now I'm guessing by process of elimination here that Swamp North was in its vanilla location. So the only thing that I am not sure about, and I believe that they switched spots, was that Hawksness contained Cantlin and Cantlin contained Hawks.
That is unfortunate for potential grinding, unless there is a good grind that you can just weather and stay down there forever as you gain. The dragon casting Hurt twice in a row. Basp wants to play with. And
takes it out.
Yeah, triumph over the red dragon. 255 experience can be a really good one if that... It looked like 50% hurt, but if it's even more, that's even better for our runners as they look for ways to gain experiences. Their stats aren't quite there yet.
TheAlanHeffley gonna go and pick up some gold in the back of Garenham. And Tyerenex, I believe, based on the motion, is in Swamp Cave and heading on south. Yep.
Basp checks for the harp, sees that they don't have it, and uses return. And Brax is in Mountain Cave. Diving, must not have gotten one of the last chests, and must be diving to recheck.
Meanwhile, here's the token on Tyerenex's side. And TheAlanHeffley with 17,000 plus gold, desperately looking around for a place to buy a silver shield.
And the death necklace is in one of the two chests up at the top of the second floor of the mountain cave.
Yeah, the death necklace, normally just a bothersome cursed trinket, actually in Dragon Warrior Randomizer is utilized to give it a purpose. In this case, that purpose is once you put on the death necklace, it gives you an additional 10 attack power, but at the cost of 25% of your maximum hit points. And Tyerenex is now going to exchange the silver harp for the Staff of Rain. So, did Tyerenex, I must have blinked and missed the pickup on that.
I hope I blinked and missed it. That would be a heck of a thing to have happen. I actually don't know what happens if you don't pick up the...
Well, it just means you have to go back and get the silver harp again. Because when you leave and re-enter, the old man is still there guarding the chest, and since he already took the harp, he'll essentially ask for another one.
Sure.
But it's making a beeline on over to the mountain cave in vanilla here, and is going to go see the jerk, the old man who will give the rainbow drop, and Tyerenex is going to be the first to have the rainbow drop.
At 22 minutes, that's a pretty quick pickup, even for speed hacks. So we'll see if he can pick up some experience and go meet the Dragon Lord in under 45 minutes.
And we have a silver heart pickup on Brax's side. TheAlanHeffley heading in the direction of Coal in the Swamp Cave. They're going to opt to head on north. And a large shield upgrade for Brax, as Tyerenex has found Cantlin. Which we see is in the Hawksnest spot. That is confirmed. Hawksnest is Cantlin, Cantlin is Hawksnest, Finkel is Einhorn, Einhorn is Finkel.
But who's on first?
Naturally. From Ace Ventura to Abbott and Costello, you're going to get it all here among the Randomania Network. Even the commentary is randomized.
And Tyerenex is... Oh, took a wrong turn on the way to Hawksnest. Got it. I was like, why are you going towards the vanilla token? Saw the bridge, got excited, and went across just to realize that that's not where Cantlin lies.
It might be somewhere in the map where there's a fairy flute, but I don't think any of our runners are going to be looking for that. And we've got a stone man guarding, well, the Cantlin spot. Quickly taken out. And Basp finding the jerk. And level 11 now for Tyerenex. So a pretty sizable lead in both exploration and levels here. And Wow. 100 strength.
You don't hate to see that as a runner. Even with the Axe Knight being here and not having hurt more, it's only going to be two swings most of the time, and 3 swings if you low roll.
Or 1 swing if you get a critical hit. No big deal.
It's a 1 in 64 shot, but man, when it hits, does it connect.
And this is going to be a quick way to level up here, even though it's a long trek to get there. 66 south and 22 west are the coordinates in Cantlin. So we know based on things found that is going to be the fairy flute.
Tyerenex just trying to do a little bit of heel walking before the next fight. I think even though you can run out of magic on this with all the heal mores that you are going to have to, I think it's still the place to be. I think the grind is going to be most efficient on the trap tile, and with this much strength, you can actually repel almost everything on the walk.
Yeah, certainly not too bad. Now, the TheAlanHeffley is in a cave. And we've got a set of stairs.
I would imagine that this is a lower level of the Grave of Garanham, but I didn't see the beginning of the...
Also, a nice crit on Brax's side on a red dragon to take it out for 255 experience. And question from our restreamer, the Amused Miniature, what stat does Repel draw off of? So the way that Repel works, it's in the same way of damage breaking. So when your defense is the same as or higher than an enemy's strength, what ends up occurring is on the overworld, you won't encounter that enemy along the way. So if you have a defense of, 65, you'll repel everything from a rogue scorpion on down, for example.
Basp briefly stepping back and forth over the top of Vanilla Staff of Rain Cave, noting that spot doesn't automatically enter you into the cave. You have to actually hit stay.
Yeah, that's what makes the vanilla fun, in that some things that you're used to being spoiled with from the randomizer aren't quite as cushy and comfy as they used to be. Or as they are now, I should say. They definitely weren't back in the day. For example, in Cantlin, the northern shopkeeper, there were 2 shop podiums that were added, as sometimes the shopkeeper would be a little trolly and would kind of hang out either in the south or north end and not come to help you. As has been known in the community, if they were in the south one, they'd be checking Facebook, and if they were in the north one, they'd be checking Twitter.
You know, some days at work, you just don't feel like working, I guess. And Tyerenex looks like they're headed towards Sharlock, opting not to do the long walk back around to Hawksnest.
So Brack's now getting the coordinates, as Basp now working on a green dragon. So Tyerenex is saying, you know what, I'm gonna crit a werewolf for 111.
And whenever I'm in Charlock and just trying to grind, I can't get the encounter. But if you make it look like you're diving, say, for the sword, you'll get all the encounters, and that's where Tyerenex is going to get that experience, too.
So it's a dual purpose of diving for Erdrick's Sword, the best weapon in the game, to give another 12 attack power on what he's already got, which, considering it's, about 130 right now?
Yeah, 130 is what I saw last time. So, attacking the Dragon Lord is not going to be an issue for any of our runners today.
And I see that we have the spell of Hurtmore there by level 13. Although attacking is pretty much right up there, and Brax has found the Fairy Flute and is utilizing it on the Golem. Oh, doesn't put it to sleep for a long period of time and gets hit for 41 and sent back.
Tyerenex onto the second basement of Charlock.
And going to utilize a heal more here, but not working on preserving MP, not making a definitive dive to challenge the Dragon Lord. This is merely a grind for experience, and in the meanwhile, looking to pluck Erdrick's Sword from one of the 7 treasure chests inside of Charlock. Which I just realized it's a little short-lived, but I guess we can play the ever-loved Pyramid game to see which of those 7 chests Erdrick's Sword will be. There's, of course, the bottom left, bottom middle, bottom right. There's the middle left, middle right, and the upper chest. And, of course, there is its vanilla location, which the reason we call it the Pyramid game, not only because of the shape of the pyramid, but for game show fanatics like me, appreciating the old $100,000 pyramid with Dick Clark, you have the different dollar amounts. So you can go 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, or vanilla, which is the judge's table.
I am with Empty Eye on that one. I haven't seen a good judge's table in a while. I think it's time.
True, the seed has been going too efficiently. And as I say that, the Blue Dragon just snipes Tyerenex.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, but I bet we'll see Tyerenex go right back to it. At 85 magic points, this actually could shape up to be pretty close to a dive if you can get down there with that full magic. 130, that's gonna do something, especially if we pick up just a few more strength points on the next level.
And here's level 13 for Basp. So I guess that Blue Dragon doing us a favor as it gives a little bit more time to be able to take the guesses for the Pyramid game. And yes, I am keeping track. And Eternal Newbie noting in chat that with the strength and the flame sword, actually with Erdrick's Sword, 10 to 21, that would certainly do it here. So Tyerenex pretty close to getting everything needed here to make it go time.
I think Charlock will keep this interesting, just with the stats the way they are and health not quite being there right now. It's gonna be pretty tight. So we'll see if we get some hit points on the next level, and I believe that comes up at 75.
Yes, 7,500 is the number for level 15. And yeah, all I saw was that sword in chat from Eternal Newbie, so I thought he was referencing that sword, which Tyerenex already has. And then I did the calculation and saw, okay, 142 with Erdrick's sword, that'd be 10 to 21. This is why you don't do maths and commentate. And oh, the werewolf with Dragon Lord Two Breath sending Tyerenex back yet again. Sharlock's proving to be the great equalizer.
Yeah, the Dragon Lord Two Breath is just an irksome thing to find on enemies, and we'll see what Tyerenex chooses to do. Sharlock is not a bad place to grind. It's closer just barely than Hawksness, and getting to Hawksness is a whole different problem right now.
And we have a question as far as what happened to TheAlanHeffley, as the screen seems to be frozen. Seemed to be frozen.
Just like that, gets a level.
And now here's the Stone Man, no sleep spell to work with. Gonna just use heal more strats and just bash and take it on out. Meanwhile, Brax getting the rainbow drop, and Tyerenex gonna head back on in. And I just noticed that I don't think it's quite go time just because of the hit points. I don't think they're even at the usual requisite 97. So
yeah, no, we're not quite there yet.
All the strength, but no hit points.
But if it's anything like one of the other seeds tonight, we'll see a level where you get 28 and you're just ready to go.
Sure, we did see that earlier with one of the races where level 17 wasn't quite it, 18 was pretty well solid, and then 19 was just for kicks and giggles at that point. I think the runner even just for the swag also threw on the death necklace just to really punish the Dragon Lord.
Makes the fight go faster, all the harder you can hit.
Except the first time they had a miss menu. And another Dragon Lord Two Breath from a werewolf.
So Tyerenex still has the experience lead, but these deaths aren't helping. Spending more time walking than gaining experience. So we'll see if the strategy changes or if we stick to the Sharlock grind, and it's going to be the Sharlock grind. If anyone else can find a good grind that they can get to and stay alive at, we could see that experience lead diminish. Having the exploration lead with the rainbow drop already, Braxius Muse is the only one with the rainbow drop that I've seen, aside from Tyerenex. And so we'll see how that experience lead passes off. We'll see if Braxius can make a challenge.
Well, Basp up to level 14 already here. And MDI enjoying the minimal power gains, as a lot of them came very front-loaded. And our restreamer, the Amused Miniature, noting that just south of Rimeldar in the vanilla location, which in this case is also in its vanilla spot, looks to have a great grind of red dragons and Sharlock enemies next to a town. And rogue scorpions being problematic with heal more, but quickly taking care of it there.
And the next enemy is going to do it here. So we'll get to see level 15.
Well, there it is. 19 hit points, 2, 3, 19, and 1. So I don't know. Tyerenex, will this be a sword dive? Yeah, with the MP that's there.
It's very tight. I don't know if you go for it. You might be aggressive. With 9 points, you might be thinking, finish solid, play the good strats. If I had a little bit fewer points, I might consider, being a little bit aggressive and trying. But 93, 104, okay. That's better. I didn't see quite what max was.
Yeah, it went from 85 to 104. And the Ami's miniature also noting that agility is a huge problem. So being able to run from these enemies, although given the strength that you have, it's a catch-22 though. Well, okay, able to run away from the armored knight there.
I think that gives us our answer. I think Tyerenex is going to go try to find the sword and take the Dragon Lord on this go.
Not a bad plan, just go for the sword and go for game right here, and is doing an amazing job on that first run of getting away from some difficult enemies to run from. Both armored knights and red dragons.
RNG has been very good to Tyerenex on this floor.
Well, as noted in chat, once it's been typed, the game proves proves the comment wrong. As everyone knows, the game knows.
I often talk about agility in Sharlock as you need agility in order to be able to run, but what you also need is good RNG. And sometimes good RNG can make up for that agility.
Basically, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But it's great if you're both. And wow, this run luck is amazing here. Tyerenex down in the last basement. We got a little flash of the stats there.
You gotta be quick to catch the stats that you want to see.
So we've got a magic key, we've got a torch, we've got a cursed belt, we've got an herb, another herb, and gold, and we have the Judge's Table Erdrick Sword. Empty Eye and Bobski, you got your wish. Oh, and now doing the stats here. So 90 defense, 81 agility. So 133 without Erdrick's Sword. So you're looking at an attack on Dragon Lord 2 of, would that be 8 to 16? Ooh, it is dicey. But Tyerenex gonna go ahead and trek back on through and go to that vanilla location.
Yeah, it could be a winnable fight, but it's definitely not necessarily in your favor if you go and take the Dragon Lord now. You'd really be dependent on a good Dragon Lord 1, and, spent the Radiant and now is under 10 heal mores. Interesting.
Ooh. Well, Tyerenex probably figured, alright, all I need is one torch, and, takes a death to the blue dragon.
Well, that solves the heal more problem, but makes yet another trip to Sharlock. I believe that Tyerenex still has the experience lead. It looks like Basp is also across the Rainbow Bridge and onto Sharlock. So we'll see how Basp's luck is in getting to the 7th floor of Sharlock.
So we've got Basp approaching Sharlock. We've got Brax in Sharlock. And Tyerenex heading back towards Sharlock.
So it's a race to find the vanilla sword. Well,
Tyerenex has the knowledge of where it is, and he You can see bonking through in the dark, it looks like. Oh no, that's through the swamp cave. So unless either Brax or Basp decide to go rogue from the norm and decide, what the heck, I'm going to try vanilla for a change, but... Well,
and
looks
Basp
like...
looking like a grind, potentially, walking up and down on that top floor. That was... I'm not sure what that was.
Perhaps it is a bit of a grind here.
Potentially seeing that the stats are just barely in the green, or not thinking about snagging that Erdrick sword, since Basp may only be swinging the axe, and not thinking about necessarily that huge stat boost that the Erdrick sword is going to provide. Basp also... I was going to say, Basp also might just be looking for just a couple more MP, just to feel very safe about that dive.
Totally makes sense. So now a red dragon being problematic for Tyerenex, and going to have to burn another heal more here. So this might more than likely be a sword dive. Although exactly enough MP for 9 heal mores.
This red dragon is problematic, though. It did cast Hurt there. So opting to use another heal more. So this dive is not going to be the one, I don't... I never considered taking that route around that floor that Tyerenex just took. It's a perfectly good route.
Well, if you know that you're going the vanilla route, it is a slight time save. And there is Erdrick's sword for Tyerenex.
And Braxius Muse is going to find out the unfortunate news that Erdrick's sword just isn't here.
Well, it is. It was just passed by a few floors up.
Well, definitely. It's much better than the news that it's in one of the bottom chests of Garen's grave that you didn't open.
Which has trolled many a runner in various races in the existence of Dragon Warrior Randomizer. So now Tyerenex is down into basement 5 and 6, and I don't know, do you think he's gonna give it the old college try here?
I mean, I think if you don't intend on getting another level, there's no reason not to try it. You could back out and go and get your magic back and be doing the dive fairly quickly, since Rimmeldar is a town.
Well,
considered it and didn't.
Not quite. Well, that makes the decision here. So the DWR, meanwhile, in the grave, going deep to seek out the treasures. We know in this case there's gold buried deep in the grave.
Alright, and Tyerenex on their way back to attempt to dive for real now that Erdrick's sword is in tow. Hoping for that really good run luck that we saw in the first dive that made it to the treasury, but found the treasury void of the Erdrick's.
We shall see. So far, pretty good. And now Brax also heading into Sharlock.
I believe Brax did end up with the knowledge of where Erdrick's sword is, so we will see pretty quickly that Brax will get the Erdrick sword and then resume searching for levels.
It looks like opting to fight on the way down is Brax.
Yeah, and Basp did take the experience lead here, widened it up by actually about 4,000 at this point, with a level 16 that looks pretty good. It's going to be interesting to see if Basp goes for 17, or if the Erdrick sword will be lure enough to pull Basp back into Sharlock.
Well, Basp not too far away from 17, as I believe 12,000 is the number.
It is, and excellent shotting a red dragon will definitely move you quick. And I think Tyerenex was forced to burn a heal more, or the heal more magic in that dive, and now is on their walk back to the inn, it looks like. So this has turned out to be quite a tight race. I think it'll be whoever can get the dive and keep the magic on the way down.
Well, and I think the commitment by Tyerenex to level 15 being the level might be something that potentially backfire.
Yeah, that was a huge level at 17. 5, 2, 22, and 6, according to ETAP. I saw the 22, and that's the only one I was looking for. That's definitely a go level, and we'll see Basp give Tyerenex a run for it. If Tyerenex gets good run luck on their way into Sharlock here, Tyerenex can still win this.
But this just got a lot closer. And also heading on through and picking up Erdrick's sword is Brax.
And something I didn't consider, is Basp Death Necklace eligible at hit points, or is it just at 130? Not quite the 133 that you would typically expect.
You could, it's just you'd pretty much be guaranteeing no double attacks.
All right, and Tyerenex with about a 2-floor lead on the way through Charlock. Burning a good trail, running from red dragons. We'll see how this turns out. It's gonna.
So now about a 4 basement lead for Tyerenex, heading down to basement 6 now.
I think Basp might opt not to even check for the Erdrick sword in the treasury, but.
So we shall see. Now, something that we have not been used to seeing in more recent times here, the spike tile that we've seen prior to the Dragon Lord here is not in this version, although with this encounter luck, pretty close to it, but able to get past it. Save for one last red dragon.
This red dragon might force you up a heal more burn right there.
No.
That's going to make it very close. And then still can't get away. 2 heal more burns. Oh my goodness. All that
So
good
this opens
RNG.
the door for Basp.
Yes, it does. Oh my goodness. And then the Dragon Lord won with 2 hurt mores. 3 hurt mores and enters with 68. A back attack is pretty much fatal. Didn't get the back attack, so has to high roll pretty much every.
We got 15 and 17, that's 32. Another 11, that's 43. And 13, that is 56. Up to 70 now. Oh, but low on the hit points here. Up to 84. Again, the Dragon Lord has anywhere from 150 to 165. I think that was 18, so we're at 102. And 15 is 117. Down to the last heal more here. 129. Oh! I must have missed one as he was able to do it.
I think there was an 18 where you saw a 13, but still, that must be a low hit point Dragon Lord. Goodness gracious.
132, so that would have just put it over the top. So, yeah.
I think it's a 135 Dragon Lord, but that was just so lucky for Tyerenex on that, making up for those 2 burned heal mores, just not being able to run from that red dragon. That is some.
However, now as I'm taking a look over here at SRL officially here, I wonder if there's some sort of delay with Basp, as Basp now taking on the Dragon Lord here. So Tyerenex on our screen here finishing in first, but according to SRL, Basp with an official SRL time of 56:44, Tyerenex with 58:22.
There could be some stream delay in there. I haven't watched a ton of Basp's racing, but man, that's just an interesting.
And now Brax on the Dragon Lord.
And Brax has 90 magic points, so that's. Wow. That's a delay you would expect to see on a first-person shooter streamer, but that's a Goodness gracious, that was much more exciting to think about it that way.
Unless, I mean, given there was about a minute and a half difference where the screens flipped, was Tyerenex actually on the bottom right and Basp in the upper left?
That's also possible, which would be really interesting. Game Boy F9, one of our league admins, says he's going to retime the two runners. So we appreciate that, Game Boy. Thanks for volunteering to do a little bit of extra work. They might have flipped. That's actually a good point, because those timings do match up.
And in the midst of the confusion here, Brack's going to finish in third. Official SRL time just past the hour mark at 60 minutes and 33 seconds.
Brax played very well. Third in this race is definitely very respectable.
So confusion abound here, to say the least, as the TheAlanHeffley now in Charlock, so Rainbow Drop obviously acquired.
Speed hacks makes it hard to keep up, and then add just a little bit more confusion, then it all becomes just a little...
And Basp noting in chat here, going in at level 17 with only the broadsword. And sometimes the challenge with having multiple players all using the capital Z as their listing there, sometimes they look so similar that you get the two confused.
Hello there.
And we have Basp joining us here in chat. Congratulations and GG.
GG, thank you. Sorry about the stream delay. I'm sorry. This made a bad viewing experience, but sorry.
Well, not necessarily. We are confirming here that apparently the issue was a visual one, in that there wasn't a stream delay. It was that your screen and Tyerenex's screens were flip-flopped on the display. So when we were watching what we thought was Tyerenex the whole time, we were watching you, and when we thought we were watching you was actually Tyerenex.
Well, I want to apologize to Tyerenex for having to take the blame for all my dumb mistakes.
Well, in fairness, with speed hacks going on here, it would have taken a keen eye to pick up on any of those mistakes.
Yeah, I think between the speed hacks and the vanilla map, it's really easy to on this flag set to let your brain go into sort of auto.
True, as there were a lot of locations, at least this time around, that were in their vanilla locations. I mean, Garenham was, the Tablet Cave was, Swamp North was, Rimmeldar.
Totally. I made
a couple of things that were flip-flopped.
Yeah, I made 3 really, really bad mistakes. I mismanaged my keys at the beginning, and so I didn't have keys for like a while, even though there was a free key at the beginning. When I bought keys, I forgot to check the Rimmeldar chest, which was the token, and so I would have not even bothered going to camp with getting the coordinates, finding the fairy flute, etc. And then at the end, the really funny one in hindsight was that I forgot that I didn't have Erdrick's sword, so I was looking for 125, 130, 135 attack power based on the broadsword. So I actually ground levels until I could beat the Dragon Lord with the broadsword, which was it's kind of funny in hindsight.
Yeah, it turned out that Erdrick's sword was in its vanilla location.
Yeah, I guess that maybe a blessing in disguise. I didn't have to do it yet.
And a bit of a pause in the TheAlanHeffley screen here as I guess a little bit of a pause here, probably perhaps to either flip a table or looks like it's pulling up a map here. And perhaps looking back to, all right, how do I get to the vanilla location again?
Interesting.
So did most of the runners go at 14 then? Is that what I'm interpreting from TheAlanHeffley?
No, I think TheAlanHeffley may at this point be realizing that everybody else finished and did not realize that, well, people are going at Tyerenex did go at, well, now wait a minute.
I believe it was 15.
I want to say 15 was the first level where you had enough HP.
And TheAlanHeffley is only one red dragon away from level 15, so the stats are going to start to look pretty good, but just doesn't have the magic to make it through on this dock. I guess you could double YOLO hurt more the Dragon Lord and just hope.
Well, so much for that. Oh, and TheAlanHeffley has thrown up a forfeit.
But to answer your question, Basp, most of the runners won at 15. The hit points were there, and it was easier to make it through. So that seemed to be the strategy. You can rewatch it, and maybe I'll be wrong, because I might have missed somebody going at 14 and picking up 15 on the way.
No, that sounds right. I mean, I think I intended to go at 15 and then realized I didn't have enough attack power, forgetting that I still didn't have Erdrick's sword. So, it was just mistakes were made. It was.
So now, if you ground up to 17 and use the broadsword, then perhaps the screens weren't flipped.
No, the screens weren't flipped. There just must have been a delay.
So there was just a delay. All right, now, just when I think I have the answer, somebody's going and changing the questions on. There's certainly a lot to figure out with this seed here, as even the screens are apparently randomized.
Boy, that would make it hard for all of the volunteers to keep things straight.
But yes, as noted in chat, GG's all the same, as now this makes for an interesting setup here as far as the point standings. So Basp with the victory here, that puts you up to 13, right in the mix with a lot of the folks here. Tyerenex with the second place finish and another 3, that gets 12 points. Brax with 2 points for third. In Aiden is more than likely going to need a win and some help to be able to get on in. And TheAlanHeffley, I believe, even with a first place finish next week, would not be able to qualify for the top 16. But we'll have more of that to go over as the week goes on here. And I want to make sure that you give our runners a follow here, regardless of their screen positions here. Make sure to give a follow to Tyerenex as well as Braxis and TheAlanHeffley and Basp as well. And we never updated that from the previous seed, as I see here. Technology, it's great when it works. And we also make sure to follow all the fine folks behind the scenes here in the Amused Miniature, who is taking care of the restreaming. Also Archfield Monk with the tracking, the unenviable task there. And Bobski joining me in here on commentary and is greatly appreciated given how hectic this is. And it being the second seed that I've commentated here tonight. So, yeah, my brains are a little scrambled to say the least. But I believe we're going to provide direction over to the main Randomania network as the final race tonight here in our quintuple header. Not often that you see that. As over on Randomania, you've got Ali Gerbrap, Janice, Will Wagner Music, and Schubinator, all looking for some very crucial points as they're all in the upper single digits and trying to get their position to make their way into the top 16. Bobski, any last thoughts here before we wrap it on up and send it over to Randomania?
Yeah, I just wanted to call out the last 3 races of this week with the was it 4 or 5 races tonight? So many races, 5 I'm seeing on the schedule.
We had 5.
5 races tonight. Stretched our volunteers so thin, but we have 3 races left. 2 tomorrow night. 1 at 7 p.m. Eastern and 1 at 10 p.m. Eastern. Those will be on Randomania and Randomania 2, I believe.
We actually get a respite after all of the insanity tonight here.
Oh, you're right.
So that is actually, that is for the 22nd, which is this Friday night.
Good call. We get some Friday night races. And then the last race will be on the 23rd, so Saturday, at 8 p.m. And that is yet to be scheduled on a Randomania, but that'll be...
Yes, Saturday night's all right for fighting Dragon Lords. I don't think it quite was sung that way by Elton John. But yes, Jacquemus, Ryguy, and Eternal Newbie. That'll be a heck of a way to end the week here. And then we'll see how the positions lay out for the 5th and final regular season week coming up next week, where Chaos makes its return. Definitely looking forward to that. So for everyone here at Randomania 2, until next time, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. We'll now get you on over to Randomania for the last of our 5 races here tonight in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer League. Good night, everyone.